Listen, I've met Tom Hanks a couple of times, and he was very kind and very lovely, and his wife was exceptionally lovely. But when he was on Saturday Night Live...
I hated it too, and I said it on my show. I know.
What?
I hated it. Wearing the MAGA hat, not shaking hands with a black person.
Right.
And that's when I thought, you people don't know MAGA people.
Nope.
I mean, they have their issues, and I certainly have my issues with them. But they're general. I mean, of course, there's some racists everywhere who are that bad. But generally, all the MAGA people I know have no problem shaking hands with the black person. You're just hysterical, and you're not helping. And
nope,
I agree.
Not at all.
That was
deplorable squared.
Not help.
An absolute media storm is brewing, and it's all thanks to one man who's had enough of Hollywood's sanctimonious nonsense. The razor-tongued comedian and late-night icon is done taking lectures from self-righteous celebrities, and this time, he's swinging hard. His fiery jab at Hollywood's golden boy, Tom Hanks, sent a loud, unmistakable message. No one is safe in BillMaher's open battle against the woke machine, and trust me, you'll want to see this. I've got every jaw-dropping moment lined up for you. First, we'll revisit the clip that sparked Maher's outrage. Then, get ready for his explosive verbal takedown, one that left the internet stunned.
If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No,
oh, no. Oh, no. It's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome in Black Jeopardy anytime.
All right. Well, thank you, my brother. Maybe I'll start a show for you to come on, and we'll call it What Jeopardy?
It all started with a so-called comedy sketch, one that painted Trump voters and MAGA supporters as ignorant, backwoods caricatures. Hollywood tried to pass it off as harmless fun, slipping the message into people's minds under the disguise of a joke. When the clip went viral, the usual defenders rushed in. Relax, it's just humor. But let's be honest, comedy isn't always innocent. Like film and music, it shapes culture, influences thought, and can spread bias faster than any headline. This wasn't comedy. It was narrative warfare, mocking half the country while hiding behind the phrase, "It's just satire." Because when the punchline always lands on the same people, it's not humor anymore, it's propaganda. And this exact issue came up again when BillMaher tackled it head-on in his Club Random podcast. And what he said hit hard.
You people don't know MAGA people.
Nope.
I mean, they have their issues, and I certainly have my issues with them, but they're general. I mean, of course, there's some racists everywhere who are that bad, but generally, all the MAGA people I know have no problem shaking hands with the black person. You're just hysterical, and you're not helping. And
nope,
I agree.
Not at all.
That was
deplorable square.
The strategy is always the same. Twist the truth, villainize opponents, and toss them aside with zero accountability. They obsessed over Trump for years, and now J.D. Vance and even Tom Hanks have become new targets. It's never about truth or fairness. It's about pushing an agenda, no matter who gets dragged through the mud. And let's be real, Tom Hanks isn't some struggling actor reading line for a paycheck. He's one of Hollywood's biggest names. He has the freedom to choose any project he wants. So when he took part in that sketch, it wasn't just a random choice. It was a message. Because when someone like him signs off on something so divisive, it says more about his values than any line he delivers on screen.
As a liberal, I don't like it. Again, because lying offends me. I'm a comedian. When the premise isn't real, the joke is not going to work. The premise has to ring true. That premise doesn't ring true. It might have rang true, I don't know, X years ago. It doesn't now. So, but that's where we are. Everybody has to just play the hate card because that's what gets clicks. That's what gets you loved by your side.
Right, your side, 100%. Yeah, and there's safety there.
They just want to feel that, oh yeah, that's right. He's
And that's exactly what commentator Megyn Kelly was getting at. That maybe Tom Hanks doesn't actually respect conservatives or the MAGA movement at all. For decades, he played America's everyman. Polite, likable, relatable. But that mask is slipping, and we're now seeing a version of Hanks that's blunt, dismissive, and unfiltered as the network's pushing this. We already know where they stand. Balance isn't part of their game plan. They've made it clear they're here to promote the woke agenda, stirring division, shaming dissenters, and ridiculing anyone who steps out of line. And sure, their bias is expected at this point. But Hanks, that one stung, because people genuinely thought he was better than that.
Reminded me of an abuser who goes back to a woman and puts on the mask. I'm charming. I'm totally loving. I will never hurt you. You can trust me. I get you. We're together. We're a partnership. But then as soon as the woman does something, could be anything, to set him off, the veil comes down and you realize this has been someone pretending. This whole thing that's been wooing me in has been an act. And oh my God, I was almost fooled. Thank God I saw the moment of reality. That's what that thing was to me, because Saturday Night Live hates conservatives.
This is a blueprint of the woke mob. Overwhelm you with outrage, strip away logic, and drag you into a fantasy world detached from reality. 1 minute you're thinking clearly. The next you're parroting slogans and attacking strangers online just to fit in. That's how groupthink takes hold. And it's not pretty. Just look around. Whoopi Goldberg constantly walking the line between outbursts and cancellation. Sunny Hostin alienating viewers with tone-deaf rants. Drew Barrymore, once adored, now struggling under backlash. The woke mob will cheer for you when you echo their script, but the moment you step out of line, you're gone. That's the trap, and too many Hollywood names are still falling right into it.
The veil was down and we saw what they really think of all of us, not just MAGA, but anybody on the right. They think you're a racist. They think you're all the ists, for all sorts of psychological reasons that we've gone into and don't need to here. But there was that piece of it. And then there was how deeply offensive it was for Tom Hanks in particular to participate in this skit. Tom Hanks, who started off on this stupid show called Bosom Buddies, which maybe it was ahead of its time, because it was about two men who dressed as women in order to get the living arrangements they wanted. So it was guys dressed, sort of in drag. And he was hilarious, and he was a nobody. And it was a stupid show that made us fall in love with him because he was so funny and bumbling.
For millions of fans, Tom Hanks' decision was more than disappointing. It was heartbreaking. He wasn't just another actor. He was seen as one of the few Hollywood figures who stood for decency and integrity. But that image shattered when he joined in mocking everyday Americans who supported Trump. That wasn't just acting. It was a clear statement, one that alienated half his audience, and no one saying cancel him. That's not the point. This is about accountability and fairness. Because the truth is, he chose to participate in something that demeaned millions of people. We noticed, and we're not going to just shrug it off or pretend it didn't happen.
Thanks to a nation, of audiences that included those guys who look like that, with the t-shirt, without the sleeves, that are maybe a little rough around the edges, who aren't as coiffed as he is with the perfect 3/4 zip, sweater, with their MAGA hat on. And yeah, Tom Hanks, their southern rural accent, you absolute effing snob, went to your movies and made you a billionaire. And your thanks to them is to mock and belittle them in the 2 minutes you had to portray what they might be like. Shame.
Here's the thing most of Hollywood still refuses to see. Trump supporters aren't a monolith. They come from all walks of life. Working class families, business owners, Hispanic voters, suburban moms, you name it. The old stereotype of conservatives as closed-minded or backward is outdated and flat out wrong. Meanwhile, the Republican Party has been evolving, opening its doors to a wider and more diverse base. But the DNC, they're stuck in the past, clinging to identity politics and elitist messaging that feels more out of touch by the day. Americans don't want lectures or moral superiority. They want solutions. And whether you like it or not, the GOP seems to be listening more closely than the Democrats right now.
Except, this is the big problem with that joke. President Trump assembled the largest coalition of black voters and Hispanic voters, and just kind of racially diverse voters generally, that any Republican has assembled in decades. Certainly in my lifetime. So that's the problem with the joke. it's not reflecting reality. And it's just so tired. The thing I really like about this sketch is it shows that Hollywood has learned nothing. I know that SNL is taped in New York, but the broader entertainment industry has learned absolutely.
And that's the bottom line. The Democratic Party is standing on the edge of its own downfall. And honestly, history's shown this before. No political group, no matter how powerful, survives when it loses touch with the people it claims to represent.
Box cleaned. We lost an historic proportion of black male voters that we relied on, and Hispanic voters. We thought we could run really hard on the immigration issue, but it turns out almost half of Hispanics like Trump. We even lost a lot of young women under 30. Yikes. All right, let's just double down on exactly what we were doing. Republicans are racists. Actually, first we're going to make fun of Republicans being religious. We're going to make fun of Christians. That'll work. And then we're going to call our opponents racists. Because apparently the majority of Americans, including a lot of black and Hispanic people, are racists. Yeah.
If the DNC wants to survive, it needs to wake up fast. That means cutting ties with the radical fringe, reconnecting with working class voters, and focusing on common sense solutions instead of chasing social media approval. Because the truth is simple. Once you drift too far from reality, collapse isn't a question of if, it's when.